Hello, everybody, and welcome into the Pigskin Project YouTube channel. I am Matt Hartman, and today Ben and I talk everything you need to know college football week 5. This is, without a doubt, one of the best weeks of college football I have seen in a minute. You get Alabama, Georgia under the lights. You get the whiteout under the lights. Oregon traveling to Penn State. And then you get some teasers throughout the day. LSU and Ole Miss. There's an awesome doubleheader on Friday night with some real playoff teams and real playoff implications for those teams playing in it outside of Virginia. But hey, they could play spoiler against Florida State. There are just tremendous games on all day long on Saturday. We got you covered in this video. Hope you enjoy it. Crazy weekend of college football, but it gets even crazier this week because we have week 5, and I'm gonna start with this game because I want to start with this game. Alabama travels to Georgia, late night under the lights. I know number 6 Oregon is facing number 3 Penn State, and I know it's the whiteout. Alabama and Georgia have defined this decade of college football. Since the playoff era, these are the two teams that define the era. And so when these two teams clash, and you have a game like last year to go on, where it's this incredible start for Alabama. They're going to run all over Kirby Smart's defense, and then they get slow pace back. Carson Beck takes the lead somehow, and then Ryan Williams makes his name known right away, has the incredible play along the right boundary, and scores. This is just, it's the one thing Kirby can't do. And a lot of people can't do is beat Alabama. But dare I say, like, this is one of those games that I think there is a real chip on the shoulder for Kirby Smart because in Athens, they have the longest home winning streak in the entire country right now. Alabama is coming off, like, they have that embarrassment loss to Florida State, so they're definitely gettable on the ground specifically, and they've had some tune-up, and I'm calling Wisconsin a tune-up game into this one. But Georgia could really take a stranglehold on this conference. If you are telling me before October 1st hits, this team has a win on the road in Knoxville and has a home win against Alabama, this is probably not a 5 next to their name. It's probably a 1. Like, that resume, it's second to none, likely, if they are able to win this game. And for Alabama, like, Ty Simpson has been good the last few weeks, again, against lesser competition. I'm interested to see how the receiving talent goes against Georgia because that was the one thing Tennessee really had against Georgia was, attacking these corners downfield. So I'm interested to see what that looks like, but this Georgia front could really get after Alabama. I think the offensive lines are they're shaky. They're both shaky. Who's less shaky? I would pick the team that's at home, favored by 3.5 to be the less shaky team. Kirby just wins in this spot.
No, I think you're correct. It was, again, an absolute battle last year. I mean, one of the best college football games I have ever watched. And again, I think Alabama's gettable this year, man. And I think this is finally the time that Kirby says, screw you, I'm going to beat you. Again, it's not Nick Saban anymore, so it doesn't have the same gumption that it would have had a couple of years ago. But I don't know. I would probably take Georgia to cover like a 6.5 spread even. I feel probably more confident than what any sane person should be about Georgia headed into this game. And maybe I'm just tainted by that week 1 loss. But I do feel very confident that Georgia gets the job done. I don't want to say handedly, but somewhat convincingly against Alabama this week.
Yeah, I'm so fascinated to see if Bama loses this game in a way that I agree with you. I think Georgia's the better team, and you're getting the home field advantage, and you like just everything, like the better quarterback. I think you get just stack these things. I think they could win by double digits. Um, but it's going to be interesting to see if there's like no funny number next to the Crimson A after this game. I don't think it would happen if they lose to
They shouldn't.
Georgia. I don't think it would happen because like Notre Dame is 1-2, and like they're 22nd. So like people aren't going to take their national champion pick out of the top 25 just being beat writers. But it's interesting to think about. Like the last time this team was in the 20s was when they were preseason 24 coming off the 2007 season, Nick Saban's first year. So, like, that's the last time they were in the
Jeez.
20s. So, yeah, we're in uncharted territory again, to reference the title. Look at that.
Look at that.
With Alabama. Then we go to State College playing at the same time, getting a true whiteout game against a Big Ten foe, the Oregon Ducks. Yeah, I mean, again, every time I say some of these like realignment things out loud, I hate it. But yeah, you get a big time spot for Penn State to really introduce this game to the country. Last year they did it at noon against Ohio State. That was pretty funny. They didn't score an offensive touchdown in that game. They had multiple opportunities too in the red zone. Now they face Oregon, and big game James. Here he comes, guys. In a top 10 matchup, in a game he should absolutely win, against one of the most coordinated and thoughtful coaches in Lanning. I have no surprise when Lanning is going to have his guys geared up and ready to go, and I'm so excited, so excited to see DeCorian Moore go up against AJ Harris, because I think you can make a case like that's probably two of the top 5 players at each position in the entire sport. AJ Harris has been thrown at like one time in so far, and again, Penn State hasn't faced anybody, and I would have Oregon ranked higher than Penn State just because of like it's a being linear with like who you have faced, who you have scheduled. Like Oregon is scheduled Oregon State and scheduled Oklahoma State. Too bad, those both suck. They killed them both. So
Yeah.
like they did their job. Where Penn State is like, all right, let's do Villanova again. But this comes down to like let's do the quarterback game. Dante Moore's been so much better than Drew Aller this year.
So much better.
And so again, it comes down to like who's the better player in these circumstances. Dante Moore is definitely facing a much more uphill battle than Penn State, or than Penn State's Drew Aller being on the road. But what do you have on this game?
No, I mean you said the big things to me. The big things going to this game is James Franklin not being able to ever win these types of games, and then the quarterback battle. I mean, there was so much hype going into the season about Drew Allard and what we can expect from him, and he's only played bad competition, and to be frank, has looked awful. Has looked very, very bad against bad competition. So I'm really excited to see what he looks like against a true power forward defense that is going to be very, very good. And for me, I think it just comes down to, can Penn State establish the run? I mean, that's what the offense has been through. If they can get the run game established and going, I think Penn State has a chance. Again, they have the whiteout going in their favor for this game. But if they can't establish the run, and this entire game is put on the back of Drew Aller, I am not feeling confident about that at all. And at the end of the day, I'm taking the better head coach and quarterback pairing, and I'm taking Oregon to win here.
Yeah, I'm taking Penn State, and because I'm gonna take the like they have to win spot. I think they ran the ball really, really well against a better Oregon front last year with how many guys I loved along their front. Harmon, Birch, Uiagalelei is still there. They ran for over 270 against this team last year in the Big Ten title game. So I have like no real like issue with the run game. I think the run game is going to be fine.
No, it's great.
I just have that issue of like Aller getting antsy because I think if this game is 7 points in the fourth quarter, I think they could win by 21. They could lose by 3. Like he is that sporadic at times. We're gonna find out. I'm taking Penn State. I'm also alt spreading Georgia by a touchdown and Penn State by a touchdown parlay. I
Mm.
think that's like plus 500. So I took that today just because I think these home teams in these spots could really like. I think Penn State and Georgia could really run over these teams, and I wouldn't be surprised too much. Let's continue
Wow.
on, and let's get into. I think this is at 2:30. Number 4 LSU travels to 13th ranked Ole Miss. LSU is still trying to find the offense. They found it kind of last week against known powerhouse, Southeast Louisiana. Uh, so scored 56 points, and Ole Miss quietly building pretty decent resume just by. I mean, if Arkansas beats Memphis, it's even better. But they've beaten, you know, Kentucky, Arkansas, two Power Four teams in their conference already, and Tulane. They shattered Tulane, as you talked about. Now they get a big time spot against LSU at home. The last time they were in this spot against Heisman Jaden Daniels, they won this game in a massive, massive shootout. So the 55.5 looks interesting. Trinidad Chambliss already is announced to be the starter.
Mm-hmm.
Lane Kiffin did not seem happy on Pat McAfee's show that information was already out there. Um, Witty Weeks is taking Instagram pictures with Lane Kiffin's daughter in game week. What are we doing? Like, is there turmoil? Is there like a house divided situation? I don't know, but just speaking what I saw, and that's a plot line now. Um, this is a big like again. I could keep saying it, but it could really take a stranglehold on the conference for Ole Miss again. Like I said with Georgia, if you beat LSU, you're already 3-0 in the conference, and you look at like what they have upcoming. They still have a South Carolina and Florida State at home and Mississippi State to end the season. They have two very big tests at Georgia and at main rival Oklahoma. So they still have some big time games coming across the bow. So if you can get this one, it puts you in a good spot to make the college football playoff. But Ben, what do you see from this game?
No, absolutely. I mean, you covered the one the one thing that I wanted to talk about in this game was what Weeks just
I'm
taking
sorry, you should have
photos
stopped me. You should have been like, hey.
no, you're fine. With Lane Kiffin's daughter, which I think again the mind games that has to
This mind games.
play a toll on the star linebacker from your opposing team is now posting photos with your daughter. I guess your daughter's posting photos with the star linebacker of the other team.
Yeah.
And I mean, Lane Kiffin had quite the response. He just 3 words: take the over. And I'm like, okay,
Oh,
we'll see. I don't know if I feel confident in
I can
that
see that.
because LSU has a very good defense and their offense has not been able to get anything going. So I would push back a little bit on Lane Kiffin saying take the over. But again, the question or the major question continues to be with this LSU offense: can they get the ground game going? And again, if they can, we have to start really be worrying because that's the one big question mark that we've seen with LSU through the first 4 weeks of the season. Um, at the end of the day, I'm taking the defense that I like more and a quarterback that I like more, and that's no shot at Chambliss. As I said, he's been a treat to watch. But I'm gonna take LSU just because I like that defense, led by Whit Weeks. So LSU.
Yeah, I'm also going to take LSU here. If we remember the this game ended last year. LSU didn't lead for a single second outside of the final play to Kyron Lacey.
Mm-hmm.
So shout out that awesome game. Rest in peace to him. But this game always delivers.
Yes.
So I'm gonna take some alt spreads where it's like plus like 3.5. I think this game is a field goal game, but I do believe LSU. It's the team I feel more certain on than Ole Miss at this point, and maybe that comes back to really bite me, which I wouldn't be surprised by with how I've gone so far with college football. Let's get into the final of this 4-pack, and then we can kind of get in some notable games to talk about. Ohio State travels
Yes.
from Columbus to Seattle, Washington, to face the Huskies in Husky Stadium. I mentioned Georgia having the longest active home winning streak. Washington actually has the second highest. So that is something to keep in mind. Um, Takario Davis, their stud outside corner for Washington, is still up in the air. Don't know if he's going to play. He didn't play last week, so against Washington State in the Apple Cup. So we'll see how that one kind of transitions because he is the exact body type you want to throw at Jeremiah Smith, even with I believe Brysock has been pretty good this
Hmm.
year. But for Ohio State, this is the first time Julian Sayin is like going on the road. Like this is confirmed going on the road for the first time in his college career. I'm excited to see how he handles that because I think Ohio State could just out depth and out talent Washington, but takes two throws against this defense to really like get get anxious because that dude at quarterback, you talk about him. So I don't want to steal your thunder again.
Oh my god. Thank you. Well, first off, I am so enthralled that this is one of the games that you put on here because this was one of the games I did and I didn't know because it was another ranked matchup. That's besides the point. Um,
Mm-hmm.
Again, the connection between Damon Williams and Denzel Boston has been off the charts. Very good. I can't say off the charts. 250 yards for Denzel Boston, but one of the better connections in all of college football between a quarterback and a wide receiver. But Damon Williams is that guy, and I think he has the juice that it takes to beat a team like Ohio State. So long. This is kind of the theme of the show for me today so long that they can get some action within the run game. If you can keep this Ohio State defense guessing a little bit, I think you're going to be in a good spot. I mean, Jonah Coleman is one of the better running backs right now in college football. And if you can keep him going and again, keep that defense guessing, I think you're in a good spot because when Devon Williams is asked to deliver, I think he can get the job done. It's just a matter of if they can hang in there defensively to make this a game. And again, that big matchup was Takario Davis. And that's, as you said, the perfect guy that you would want to throw at him. And we don't know if he's going to play. But I think this could be a huge statement game for Washington if they can get the job done. I might even take Washington to cover. There's
Mm-hmm.
still some questions for me about this team. I'm not fully sold on Ohio State, and it's crazy because they're the number one ranked team in the country. But again, I think this is just going to be an absolute battle. And flat out, I think Devon Williams is the better quarterback playing in this game. So,
Yeah, I wanna look it up. I think he's a sophomore. I don't know if he's true sophomore or redshirt sophomore.
redshirt sophomore, I'm pretty sure.
Oh, he's a junior. He's a junior. Caden
Okay.
McDonald on Ohio State's
Mm,
defensive line. He's
yes.
incredible.
Dog.
He is so good. Like I was watching him the other day, and I was like, "Whoa, that guy is sick." I was watching the Texas Ohio State game again, but yeah, no, I agree with all your points. Like I think the top end talent for Washington is there. It's just the
Hmm.
competitive depth that challenges these upsets because Ohio State just has guys on guys on guys, especially a receiver, where Washington is very limited. Like I think Coleman is a dude and Boston is a dude and the corners I'm interested to see because Washington is one of the higher pressure rate teams without blitzing this season. They've barely
Hmm.
played anybody. So we're going to find out together if they can get pressure on the quarterback. This is also one of the places that you just like. I feel like goes unnoticed that like there is
Very
so
underrated.
much
Yeah.
energy in that stadium. Like the Oregon game from a few years ago, incredible, unbelievable energy, and it was at this time, I believe. I believe it was the 2:30 game.
Hmm.
So like those people are going to be up for it. So I'm pumped for this one. This is such a great CBS game. Uh, at the perfect time slot. So, but let's get into the other notables of the week. Do you have any you want to really hit on in depth before we get into kind of spraying the board?
No, the other two, and this is kind of the middle ground between in depth and spraying the board here, is the other ranked matchup that
Yeah.
got left out. Uh, that's number 21 ranked USC going in to Illinois, who's now dropped all the way down to 23. Can Illinois bounce back from again that absolute butt kicking that had happened here in Bloomington a week ago, and show like, hey, that's not the team we are. We're much closer to the 9th ranked team in the country than we are to the 23rd ranked team in the country. And it was an off day. Luke Altmaier wasn't able to get stuff going. He's fine. Everything will be okay. And I'm just interested to again see if they're going to be playing closer to the 23 team and the 9 team. Because I still have no clue. Because before the Indiana game, as we had said, they didn't really play anyone that made you excited. And this is going to be another one of those, tough ranked matchups to really test to see if this team can make that push to the playoffs that so many people were saying going into the season. Is there anything you want to say about that game?
Jacoby Lane isn't going to play.
Mm-hmm.
Wayman Jordan, their running back for USC, is awesome. USC is essentially playing a 9 a.m. football game because they're traveling from the West Coast. Uh, I love this USC offense. Shocker. Shocker, I love the
Shocker.
offense. It's so much fun. Uh, like Makai Lemon is running
Kyle
all
Lemon is so
around without
yeah.
Jacoby Lane on the field. I think USC puts up points in this game. That's my one kind of takeaway. I think Illinois is
Yes.
leaning. I think they're the leaning tower of Pisa, and they're going to fall.
Yes, I agree. And then the other one, I mean, how could I not? Indiana, 11th ranked Indiana, going to play Iowa in some true Big Ten football. And the big thing is can the Indiana offense continue to be as efficient as what they are against what will be a much tougher defense that you were playing compared to Illinois? Again, I think Indiana pulls the game out. I mean, how could I not? But again, it's going to be the toughest defense that they've played thus far because just like I said with Illinois, Indiana really didn't play anyone before that game. So we'll see if this hype about Fernando Mendoza or not is true when you're actually playing up against a good IU or not IU Iowa defense. So that's the other kind of big game that I wanted to talk about. I don't know if you have thoughts on that either.
Yeah, I'm glad you didn't make like a cliche and like this is an Indiana trap game. Kurt Signetti don't play no trap games. All right.
No,
Guy
you
is
kidding me?
what 15-2 in 2 seasons at Indiana, and the 2 losses came against the 2 teams who played for the national championship last year. Like, come on,
Mm-hmm.
Kurt Signetti don't play no trap games, and I don't think Iowa is any different. Um, Number one, I want to start with Friday night. All right, double header:
Wow.
Florida State, Virginia, and TCU, Arizona State. We finally get to learn more about Florida State and if they are a top 10 team in the country, or did they just beat Alabama, who is an 8-win team this year? I don't know. I want to figure it
Mm-hmm.
out. The line is 6.5. So, like, Vegas is kind of telling us, like, well, we're not going to lose too much money on Virginia. Virginia can sling it around the yard. It's at home in Charlottesville. This was a game before the season that it was like, if they lost to Bama and Florida State's still unranked, this was a game that kind of a lot of Florida State people were pointing at like that's the game to look at if Norvell still has the team. So I'm interested. Norvell obviously still has the team. but do they still have the season? Do they? Because this is playoff or bust at this point. When you beat Alabama, you're officially at that point. So I'm interested to see how this game goes. And then TCU and Arizona State. I think these are still two of the top 5 teams in the Big 12. Obviously, I'm kind of tearing it off. Like, I think Texas Tech is obviously one right now, but these two teams are definitely in that next tier. Hoover can sling it around the yard. Levitt hasn't played that great this year, but we still know what Sam Levitt is. Still a very, very competent college quarterback. And then Jordan Tyson, top 15 pick upcoming next season. There's going to be points in that one in Tempe. And then we get into, you mentioned USC, Illinois. Notre Dame travels to Arkansas at 11 o'clock in the morning. Okay. Interested to see how that one goes. I remember, like, before the Ole Miss game, Taylor Green was the most underrated quarterback in all of college football. Now he's lost 2 straight games, and I don't think anyone wants to talk about him anymore. But Arkansas at home at this time slot, this is not a fun game for Notre Dame. No margin for error. We know about Notre Dame's season already having the 2 losses. So again, any game that has Notre Dame in it this, like, the rest of the season, I'm just going to keep an eye on, because, like, Notre Dame getting out is one added spot. You know, one more loss for Notre Dame, that just adds another spot. Duke travels to Syracuse. Syracuse lost their quarterback, Steve Angeli, for the season to a torn Achilles. LSU transfer Ricky Collins is going to start the rest of the season. Just wanted to make light of that. The 2:30 slot, Auburn travels to A&M. This is another game where it's Hugh Freeze, hot seat, all these things. If they lost to Oklahoma, you're now traveling to a rested A&M team who is a top 10 team in the country. Could this be a game where Hugh Freeze kind of loses the team, loses the crowd? Arnold doesn't play well. Arnold didn't play well in the Oklahoma game. So, again, not a fun place to go. Kyle Field is not fun except for Texas. UCLA plays Northwestern at 2:30. You don't have to watch this. I'm just, like, making light. Like, this is a game in the Big Ten Conference. It's still happening. These are 2 of the most miserable programs in the country.
Yes.
So we'll see how that one fares out. I'm literally just scrolling through the score bug.
I got a couple for you here too.
You go.
The Battle of I-25. For those who are unfamiliar, that's New Mexico versus New Mexico State, a rivalry there.
Okay. Yeah.
Also known as the rivalry of Rio Grande. It's just a fun little in-season rivalry between 2 in-state competitions. 15-ranked Tennessee versus Mississippi State. Shoot, did anyone expect Mississippi State to be as good? I mean, they're not a great team, but did anyone expect them to be as good as what they have been thus far? And then kind of the last one that I would like to bring to everyone's attention for me is Kentucky at South Carolina. Is South Carolina that ranked team that we talked about, or are they as booty as what they've looked over the last 2 weeks, like me and Matt have been trying to tell people all offseason? Anyways.
Yeah. Arizona travels to Ames, Iowa. Iowa State, again, another one of those teams in that kind of tier of the Big 12. Arizona has yet to play anyone with real, substance yet, if you're calling, like, Kansas State out of conference, by the way, any substance. But that one's going on later at night. And then obviously they're not going to be watching too many 6:30 games with Oregon, Penn State, and Alabama, Georgia, but App State, Boise State, fun game. Fun, like you mentioned Boise State across our, like, G5 talking points. Boise State's still, like, I think in this, like, enough that, like, if they can just, dominate the conference, go 10-2 because they're going to lose to Notre Dame in a week's time, like, something to think about. What was it? They had a crazy stat line from a running back last week, and people were like, they spawned another Genty. I gotta find it now. Yeah, Dylan
Yes.
Riley last week against Air Force, 19 carries, 170 yards, 4 touchdowns. So they spawned another Genty. He also had a receiving touchdown of 75 yards. So just keep that in mind. So yeah, they spawned another Genty, and Dylan Riley, didn't know much about him. And then lastly, there's only one game. One game past 10 o'clock Eastern Time. BYU traveling to Boulder, Colorado at Folsom
Boulder.
Field. Who's starting at quarterback for Dion? Nobody knows. Could be anybody. BYU continues to be just a wagon. They dominated East Carolina last week. They're, again, another one of those teams that I would include in that tier break of the Big 12, so I'm just fascinated to see. And then, obviously, like, you just want to watch what Dion's going to do with this team. So, yeah, that is the notable games. I kind of just rattled off some interesting games that I think I'm going to keep my eye on and maybe bet some money on. So, yeah, but that is all for College Corner, unless you have anything to add here at the end, Ben.
Yeah, hey, Sean Moore coming back from Michigan. We'll see if that changes anything. But no, another great week of college football again. Now we're ramping up into conference play. We're going to start seeing a lot more of these
Yep.
ranked in conference matchups. This is kind of the meat and bones of the college football season, and very exciting stuff here. So.
Yes. Love to hear it. That is all for the show. Hopefully you enjoyed that video. We really appreciate you clicking on this video. Make sure to like and subscribe. That always helps us out. And remember, check out our links in the description. And Wednesdays, 9:30 Eastern, 8:30 Central Time, live over here, talking ball, interacting with the chat, having some fun. So you wouldn't want to miss that. But that's all for me. And until next time, roll that outro.